Apart from Star Trek, what is my favourite TV series of all time? Let's find out in today's Q&A. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, time for another Q&A. This is the episode where I answer your questions from the comments that you left in the last episode, and these run at roughly about every month. Got some great questions once again to answer, so I'm really looking forward to this. As always, if you would like to ask me a question, then please put that question in the comments box below and I'll pick it up on the next episode. It's quite notable that a lot of people now are doing questions of the week and stuff in their videos or on separate videos for people to answer in the Q&As. Now, to be fair, when I watch those, I generally answer the question in the comments box below. However, I did watch Pete from Mini Warzone's video literally just before I made this video, and he asked a question in his Q&S. So I'm going to answer that one here first of all. And his question was, are we going to have a real life zombie apocalypse? And it's quite an interesting question actually, but not necessarily with zombies and stuff. He was talking about the mobile phone technology, where basically if you look out on the streets or go anywhere, everyone is doing this on their phone, walking along the road doing this. I mean, we all do it, don't we? Most of us probably. Actually, this is something which I've thought about quite a few times before actually. Star Trek. I was talking about Star Trek. I don't remember the actual episode name, but in Star Trek The Next Generation, do you remember where Riker comes back with this game? It's like a pair of glasses. You put the glasses on, I think, and then you've got, well, it's not really glasses, it's like a probe thing. And then you've got to do this certain levels. Every time you get the level complete, you get a boost, almost like a drug come through, and the whole ship gets addicted to this game, except for Wesley Crusher, of course, who saves the day. Yeah, every time I see that episode, it reminds me of today's mobile phone technology, where everyone is just addicted to their phone. Me too. Me too. I mean, I've got to the point now where I used to go, when I go to work, I go on a ferry. It's a 5-minute journey. I used to always get my book out and read my book. Well, now I just get my phone out, I'm on my phone. I need to make more of an effort really to get my book out and actually start reading, because it's been a while since I've really read much in my books. So I suppose the answer to the question, Pete, is yes, I think we are having a bit of a zombie apocalypse. With the mobile phone stroke iPad sort of technology which is coming. I don't think it's going to change. I think it's the way of the future, but yeah. He did say, are we losing the ability to talk? I don't think we are. I think we are talking probably a lot more than we were, but just to not people around us, to other people. So I think we need to make a bit more of an effort probably when I do it myself, it's I'll take a particular time, maybe I'm just watching something on telly or whatever, and I will literally hide my mobile phone. I sort of don't turn it upside down so I can't see if it's flashing and stuff, and just try to put it to the side and try not to touch it for that hour or whatever, So I do try to make some effort, but I think I probably need to make a bit more effort. But it's hard because obviously with the YouTube you always want to keep up to date with all your notifications and stuff, so swings and roundabouts. Anyway, great question, and if you haven't seen Pete's Q&A series yourself, the king of Q&A, and actually the inspiration for me making my Q&A series and probably most other people on YouTube, yeah, check his channel out if you haven't. I will put links to everyone's channel in the description below, so check them all out for us. That would be great. Right, so like I said, I don't really answer video questions much in this series. However, I am going to issue a question to you guys. If you want to pick it up, put it into your videos, you're more than welcome, or just answer it in the comments box below. But I do have a question for you. Excuse me. So my question is, with 8th edition just around the corner, I would like to know whether anyone in your gaming group, now I'm not talking about someone you've seen on Facebook doing some, posts and stuff on Facebook or comments on Facebook. I'm talking about someone you actually know, someone you play in your gaming group. Has any of you experienced that person saying, I've seen what 8th edition is about, I don't like it, I don't want to play it, I want to play 7th edition still? That's my question. Has anyone you physically know said to you, I don't like 8th edition, I want to play 7th edition? I'm very interested to hear that. Okay, that's my question of the series, and I've got loads of questions here to answer in the comments, so let's get cracking. So the first one is from Inquisitor Jones, and he says, good video, thank you. What army is going to be the first army you throw down with 8th edition hits the streets, basically? And I think you probably already know this, I've sort of answered it, but yeah, it's going to be Necrons. I'm going to solely concentrate on playing Necrons at first. Probably, to be fair, closely followed by Tyranids. And then, well, that's it at the moment. That's the plan, basically. So there'll be Necrons first. Going to see lots of Necron videos. And then I'm going to move on to Tyranids, I think. Those are my two most favourite armies to actually play, to be fair. So I'll start with those two. Thanks for the question. Next question is from Scrag Guard. Scrag Guard, I hope you're doing well. I saw your last video that you put up, and it's been a while since you put any videos up. I know I've chatted to you quickly on Facebook, but yeah, I hope you're doing well, fella, and hope to see some videos from you soon. But yeah, Scrag Guard, he says, with your upcoming Chaos Army, are you planning on doing some, how to put this, conversion work? Naughty, naughty, laugh out loud. So he put this comment down before I revealed that I was doing Slaanesh. But yes, I will be doing some conversion work. Not 100% sure what, because the Slaanesh series is going to take a while, and I'm going to be asking you guys some questions on that as well. So be more to come on that. But yeah, I'm going to be doing some conversions. I'm sure there's going to be lots of tentacles and stuff in the army. So looking forward to that. Thanks for the question, Scrag Guard. Next question is from Tory Ling, and he says, if you could jump into any painting or drawing, this includes Games Workshop art or fan art, in the Warhammer 40k universe for a day, you would experience all the action and surroundings. Which picture would it be and why? Please be sure to show us the picture. Oops. Okay, I don't have the picture. I'll try to insert a picture now. Okay, so hopefully you just saw a picture of a craft world from an Eldar craft world. I think it'd be pretty cool to visit an Eldar craft world, an Eldar planet. I think it will be quite a nice tourist area to go. Have a look around all the cool buildings. The buildings look really cool. And I almost feel like it's a planet from the Star Trek universe. And I wouldn't want to go to anywhere where there's war. I'd go to a nice peaceful planet with lots of nice buildings and just spend the day there, relaxing and having a look around some cool architecture. That's my answer. Thanks for the question, Tory. Okay, next is from Cruorangelussilicis from Mike, and he says, what's your highest break in snooker? Thanks for the question, Mike. I have answered this question before, but yeah, 83 is my highest break. Actually, last night I played snooker and I had a chance of beating it. I was on 52, and what happened? I missed one. Yeah, 52, I actually ran out of position slightly. I had a tricky black, and I had to cut it in. I cut it. It was on the way to the pocket, but I didn't quite hit it hard enough, and it didn't drop in. But there was like 3 or 4 reds left, so I could have beaten that. But yeah, 83 is my highest break. Yeah, thanks for the question, mate. Next question is from Travis Reeves, and he says, apart from Star Trek, what is your favourite TV series of all time? This is a very good question. This is a question I've actually been thinking about. It's a tough one to answer. So in recent times, I really did enjoy Daredevil. I thought that was awesome. On a side note, I've watched Jesse Jones. Thought that was pretty decent. Not as good as Daredevil, but watchable. And then I went on to Luke Cage. Haven't really been able to get into Luke Cage. I think I've watched about 6 episodes, but it's just not. I'm finding it tough to watch it. I'm forcing myself to have to watch it, which means it's probably not the series for me, so I think I'm going to give up watching that one. But Daredevil, loved that. And Game of Thrones, of course. I mean, that is awesome. I'm really enjoying that. Can't wait for the new one to come out. So they're my sort of recent ones. I mean, looking back into my past, in particular into my childhood, I really enjoyed watching the Batman, the old 70s TV series. So that was one of my favourites. I don't think it really counts as a TV series, but Only Fools and Horses, absolutely love watching that. I mean, Christmas, the Christmas special, I mean that was Christmas. When is Only Fools and Horses on? But I don't think that really counts as a TV series. So I suppose now I'm going to say Game of Thrones. Yeah, great question. Thank you, Travis. Right, next is from Big Mek Danskull, and he says, your favourite character from Star Trek universe is a 40k player. Who is it? What army would they play and why? Okay, for the next one, your favourite character from the Star Trek universe is a 40k player. Who is it? What army would they play and why? Oh, that's just me copy and pasting the question. He didn't ask it twice. Right, so your favourite character from Star Trek universe is a 40k player. Okay, I've got a lot of favourite characters. I'm going to just go with Riker as my favourite character. And what does he play? Well, he likes playing poker. He's got a good poker face. Doesn't give much away. So I think it'd make quite a good 40k player. What army would they play and why? Okay, Riker. I was going to say Necrons because of the Borg, but no, that would be like his arch enemy, wouldn't it? So I'm going to say Riker. Space Marines, probably he'd have a Primaris army. Yeah, Primaris Marines. I think he would play because, well, they're the best Space Marines, aren't they? So yeah, Primaris Space Marines, I would say. Thanks for the question, Big Mac. Big Mac. Right, Green Stuff Games, Comic Book Joe, and she says, question, so how many 40k armies do you have, and what armies do you have? And thanks for all your support and being a super cool guy. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I've been recently subbed to Green Stuff Games. Her channel's doing really, really well. Just to hit, I think, 150 subs now. She's gained loads of subs recently. If you haven't checked out the channel, check it out. But it's a good question. So, how many 40k armies do I have? What army? How many 40k armies do you have, and what armies do you have? I think that's the same question. Right, so I have about 6. Let's quickly rack through them. So, Necrons, Tyranids, Eldar, Dark Eldar, Chaos and Space Wolves. 6 armies. Yeah, thank you for the question. Next is from DZ Saber, and he says, so by the time you publish the next Q&A, 8th edition will be a couple of weeks away. It certainly is. With all the Games Workshop has already revealed about the changes, you have probably got an idea of how your armies may be impacted. Which armies of yours are you most excited because of the coming changes, and why? Great question. Okay, so I think the army which I'm most excited about is probably Tyranids, because I think Tyranids have got a brand new lease of life, and I'm very, very interested to see how my current armies work on the table. Necrons, of course, as I said earlier, is going to be my #1 army to start with, and they do excite me, but I think they're going to just play like I used to play Necrons, to be fair. I'm looking forward to playing them, don't get me wrong, but I think Tyranids will probably have the most excitement to me because they're going to be totally different in how they play. And I think with the Assault, you know, just can't wait to see them on the table really. So yeah, I'm going to say probably Tyranids is the one I'm most excited about, and the reason for that is because they are awesome, loads and loads of wounds, and potentially getting into close combat quickly is going to be fantastic. Thanks for the question. Next one is from Minotaur Star, and he says, any chance you will get into some smaller skirmish 40k games? There is a chance, absolutely. I mean, I do play 40k smaller point levels, not necessarily the skirmish rules, but just smaller points games. So I'm, you know, quite happy to play that. I'm not going to be buying any of the skirmish sets of games, etc. But if my buddy buys it, I mean, we play Blood Bowl, so I think that's not really, is that a skirmish game? Probably not. But yeah, I'm quite happy playing smaller games, so you probably will see some stuff on my channel, but probably you're not going to see the new Necromunda equivalent, or whatever it's called, on my channel. But definitely some smaller point games. Having said that, 40k, it seems the point levels are going to be going up, so like a 1,000 point game is now going to probably be 1,500 points. So probably a 500 point game is going to be the equivalent of 1,000 points probably now. Have you seen the price of monoliths? 381 points. Who came up with that figure? 81 points. Where'd that one come from? Okay, next question is from Grawley's Lair. He says, I know you're a big Prince fan, so what Prince song do you think describes you the best? This is a mega tough question. So many great Prince tracks. Which one describes me the most? Depends on my mood. Depends on my mood. Describes me the most. I'm really gonna have a hard time answering it. Describes me the most. Almost impossible to answer, so I'm just going to pick one out of the sky. I've been told I'm getting a bit crazy in my videos, so I'm going to go for Let's Go Crazy. There you go, an answer. Thanks for the question. Next one is from Ironclad Hunter. He says, what do you think is the best power weapon with 7th edition? Best power weapon with 7th edition? Depends what you mean. Do you mean in like the rules, or in how it looks, or the theme of the weapon? It's a hard one to answer, and I've almost forgotten 7th edition now. I haven't played for quite some time. I don't really feel like I want to play 7th edition. Best power weapon. I'm not a fan of power weapons that strike last. So although a Thunder Hammer, for example, and a Power Fist probably are really good weapons, I don't like the fact that they strike last. So I actually really like the Wolf Claws on the Wolven. They're pretty cool. Yeah, let's go for that. Wolf Claws on the Wolven. Thanks for the question. Next one is from Brian from Atomic Dog Scout Model Freak. He says, do you think the new 8th edition will bring in new players? I've only played 40k twice and enjoyed it. I'm trying to get the nerve to find a game store and host games, and will have the patience to teach me the ways of 40k. Right, I think absolutely. I think the new edition will bring new players. I think it will bring old players back to the hobby. I think it will bring Age of Sigmar players into 40k, and I think it will bring brand new players into 40k. I think it's a very exciting time. Everything generally should be easier to play. I think with Games Workshop's push in store, with all the demo games and stuff, will definitely bring new people into 40k. So the answer is yes, and you should definitely, Brian, have another go. Continue painting some orcs, definitely. Okay, so thanks for that question, Brian. That's a great question. Next one is from Mythos, from Frost and Fists, and he says, if YouTube and my current line of work were to no longer be an option, what would be the career you would pursue? Okay, so if YouTube and my current line of work were no longer an option, what would I choose as a career? So, I have no idea, to be honest with you. A job which doesn't entail being outside. I wouldn't like to work outside. I'm not really a career-minded person. I enjoy my job. I've been in the same job since I left school, so what, 27 years. You know, I like a job that I can get up in the morning. I can not have that feeling, oh my god, I've got to go to work, and I don't get that feeling when I get up. I get up, I go to work, I enjoy it, come home, I forget about work, I'm happy. That's the key thing for me about a job. So I don't really know, to be fair, what I would do. I can tell you when I was younger, I really wanted to be a professional snooker player. But I didn't have the skill, and I started way too young. I didn't start playing snooker on a full-size table till I was about 20, 21. These days, to be a professional snooker player, you've got to be knocking in 100 breaks at the age of 10 to have even a chance of being good. Interesting question. Thank you for that one, Mythos. Okay, so next question is from HowCorrects26. And he says, 8th edition is right around the corner, and what is your opinion about having every codex and book you own becoming worthless? From a expensive side of the game, would you rather have spent the money on miniatures rather than books? I have 30 plus codex and rule books. I'm not happy, for sure. Okay, so definitely can see where you're coming from. I mean, if you have all 30 books, that's a bit of a blow, you know, it's a lot of money that's just gone defunct. I personally don't have too much of an issue with it. Obviously we now have, I mean, at the time we did this question you probably wouldn't have known this, but obviously we've got the index books, they're there to tie us over. We're going to have new codex books for each individual army, I think, in the future as they upgrade it. But yeah, it doesn't really bother me too much because I've got used to the change of Games Workshop. It did annoy me before. Now I try not to buy anything that I don't really need. No matter how tempted I am. It's like the Gathering Storm books. I'd love to have bought those, but I didn't need them, so I didn't buy them. So I just buy stuff that I know I'm definitely going to use, basically for gaming, and then I accept that these things go defunct. It happens, I'm used to it. So yeah, doesn't really bother me too much, but I can certainly understand people's annoyance with it. I'm just looking at a positive point of view because in the past they brought out a new edition, you've got to adapt your army, then there's loads of FAQs you've got to wait for. It's tough to get your army into the new edition, and then you've maybe got to wait 2 years for new codex. That codex comes out, it's compatible with the new edition, and then a couple of years later they bring out another new edition. Your codex then becomes defunct, and the way they've done it I think is great. I mean, every single model that they own has been upgraded. That's unheard of. So I think it's positive on the whole. Nice question, thank you. Next question is from Nerdopolis Prime, and he says, speaking of Star Trek Discovery, what do you think will be the plot? Or, the other way around, what would you like to see in this mini-series? Is it a mini-series? I thought it was a full-blown series, I'm not sure. Okay, so I don't really know too much about it. because I personally, when anything new comes out, especially when I'm really passionate about this, I try to avoid watching or finding out too many details. I like the surprise of it. So if something comes out like Star Trek or Star Wars, I mean Star Wars Rogue One, I didn't really try to watch any reviews or anything. I just watched the film for as it is. That's what I like to do. I like to be surprised. You know, the Star Trek movies come out, the new ones, I totally just wait till I see it. Anyway, so what I do know is I know that it's set 10 years before Captain Kirk. I think it's going to tell the Klingons a bit more, but that's all I really know. What do I think the plot will be? Like I said, I think it's going to be the Klingons. I don't really know, to be totally honest. I don't know. What do I want to see in this mini-series? What do I want to see? I want to see the same of what we get usually. So great stories, more modern stories maybe, it's a bit more influential on the topics of today. Be nice to have some cool special effects. Be nice to see some of the old species invigorated a little bit more. I know, for example, when they did Enterprise, you know, we saw the Gorn. They redid like a digital Gorn, so it'd be great to see like species like that redone. Yeah, I'm very excited by it, but I've got no expectations of it really. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. Thank you for the question, Nerdo. Well, we're actually on to the last question now, and this is from Sam from Emperor's Path. And his question is, if you were stuck in a car for 8 hours and could only listen to one song on repeat, what song would it be? You can turn it off, you can't turn it off or adjust the volume. Okay, so it definitely would be a Prince song. To be fair, I'd be happy to listen to any Prince song for 8 hours constantly. But if I had a choice, it would probably be Computer Blue. Such an awesome song, great guitar riffs. A song you can just absolutely sing to with all the lyrics, and then you can go into the guitar. So Computer Blue would be one of them. Love that. I could listen to that for hours. Yeah, but I could listen to any of the Prince songs for hours really. Joy and Repetition, Purple Rain, oh my god, so many. But I'm going to say Computer Blue. Right, that is all the questions answered. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget, if you want to see another episode, I do need more questions. Put those questions in the comments box below, please. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please hit the bell buttons and keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k. And I'll see you in the next video.